Maybe don't expect to go anywhere fast on I-70 this weekend because you will be competing with people squeezing out the very final days of ski season. By our count, 7 resorts in Colorado plan to close by Easter Sunday. That includes Steamboat Ski Resort, which you're looking at live right now this evening. Down here in Denver, we are still flirting, though, with freezing temperatures overnight. Might kind of seem weird considering the warm spring we've had, but that's pretty normal for this time of year. We know temperatures like to bounce around a lot. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jennifer Meckles. The holiday weekend is looking warmer and drier. 9 News meteorologist Corey Reppenhagen joins us now to break it all down. Corey?
Yeah, we got an absolutely gorgeous Easter weekend ahead after this storm system rolls through here. The worst ski season in 40 years will soon be a distant memory, but a few ski areas are going out with a bang. Here is the 48-hour snow totals. These ski areas here marked in pink, those are closing up for the season. After this weekend, there will only be 7 ski areas left standing in Colorado. Hopefully they can make it past the last day of April. Here we are in the 40s here across the Denver metro area. Temperatures really going to drop. We'll likely get down to about freezing. Some of us will drop below freezing here on the Front Range. We have a freeze warning out on the western slope, and that does include the Grand Valley and those Palisade peach blossoms, which popped up pretty early this year. They are at some risk of some freeze damage going into tomorrow morning. But look at this Easter weekend for you. Warm temperatures, lots of sunshine, and no wind. The wind will be back here on Monday. I'll talk about that coming up in the full forecast.
Corey, thank you. A water emergency in the town of Erie is now over. People can use their sprinklers again. A couple weeks ago, we talked about how town residents, business owners, HOAs were all told to stop using their sprinklers until April 4th. And if they tried and got caught, officials warned the water taps could be shut off. The town now says it has a normal supply of water. People can use their sprinklers twice a week. They might even add a third day during extra hot and dry weeks. Now, if the conditions get worse, the town says they will consider enacting water restrictions again. Here's a look at how other cities are handling water conservation right now. The city of Boulder has enacted a drought watch asking people to voluntarily conserve. The city of Denver implemented stage 1 restrictions, same thing in Thornton. And people who live in either of those cities are now limited to 2 days of outdoor watering a week. Aurora is on a water supply watch. Officials have recommended declaring stage 1 water shortage, which would start Tuesday if it gets the city council's approval the day before. The National Interagency Fire Center is predicting significant fire potential in June and July following Colorado's weirdly dry winter. So local departments are now even more worried about a nationwide shortage of fire trucks. 9 News reporter Ria Jaw spoke with several fire chiefs about how they're trying to adapt. Ria?
Yeah, and fire chiefs around the metro told me the problem started around COVID and only started getting worse from there, now forcing some departments to make decisions on trucks they haven't had to in the past. Across the country, fire departments are waiting years for the trucks they need right now.
If I order a fire truck today, you're talking about, on the short side, a 2-year wait, on the long side, a 5-year wait.
In Arvada, Chief Kirk Locke says they couldn't afford to wait.
We just purchased a demo, which we've never done in the past, just so we could get the fire trucks in here and stay on our replacement plan.
Instead of ordering new, they bought one secondhand.
In the past, we bought custom fire trucks, custom colors, things like that. Nowadays, you can't do that. You just got to get what you can get to stay ahead of the replacement plan. If you fall behind, it's almost impossible to catch up.
And the price of waiting is going up.
2011, the cost was $400,000. Cost is $1.4 million now. And if you have an unexpected loss, you're really in the hole.
That hole is what smaller departments like Golden are worried about.
Us being just a 2-station department can be impacted very quickly with the loss of a single apparatus.
Mark Staley is the battalion chief at Golden Fire. He says in a state where wildfire danger is already rising, waiting years for equipment isn't just inconvenient.
When a big fire hits, they want the resources to be available at that moment. They don't want to wait 4 years for us to put the fire out. So.
Fire chiefs tell me there are just 3 major manufacturers now control most of the fire truck market, and because these trucks are custom built, fewer options are only adding to the delays. Ria Cha, 9 News.
Ria, thank you. There is a sign of progress tonight in the disagreement fueling a teacher strike at Sheridan schools in Arapahoe County. Teachers have been working without a contract since August. With the negotiations stalled, they walked off the job on Wednesday. As a result, the district closed school for the last 3 days. The union now says they'll meet with district leadership to resume negotiations. That meeting is scheduled for tomorrow. And the strike at the JBS meatpacking plant in Greeley, that will extend into a fourth week. Last month, roughly 3,800 workers walked off the job at one of the largest beef plants in the country. The union that represents them is pushing for higher pay and safer working conditions. JBS has stood firm, arguing that it's offered a fair contract with good pay and benefits. Workers say they'll be out there as long as it takes.
If we don't get what we want, we're still here. We're ready for that. My family, they are back in Africa, West Africa, in Benin.
And you're supporting them?
Yeah, I have to support them.
Now, JBS says it has moved some operations elsewhere to prevent a disruption to supply. And the union says negotiations are now scheduled to start back up again on Thursday. A truck driver is now facing a careless driving charge after crashing into a gas station in Littleton. This happened at a Quick Trip back on March 10th. Investigators say a semi had just exited southbound Santa Fe Drive onto Bellevue when it went off the road and hit a parked car, pushing both of them into a building. There was a person in that car that got crushed. They were hospitalized but expected to make a full recovery. Littleton police say the truck driver initially told investigators he believed the truck's brakes failed, but police say they found no mechanical issues. Driving in the I-25 express lanes between Berthoud and Fort Collins will soon cost you. CDOT says that they're going to start tolling on that 14-mile stretch on Tuesday. Nearly 2 years after the original plan, charges are going to depend on time of day, where you're at, what direction you're traveling. It will be cheaper if you have express toll pass. You can drive in those for free. Those toll lanes, if you have 3 or more passengers, are on a motorcycle or a commercial transit vehicle. And if you're caught weaving over the solid lines of express lanes, you'll get a warning starting this next week. CDOT says fines will start 1 month later. CDOT's also installing new highway cameras. You might remember nearly 100 of the highway cameras they did have went offline when the agency's contract with a private vendor ended last summer. CDOT says they're going to replace 66 of those cameras. Several are in remote areas where people rely on the feeds to learn about conditions during snowstorms or traffic jams. All of these new cameras will be state-owned and state-managed. CDOT says that will help them address performance issues they had before, and the project is expected to be completed by the fall of next year. CDOT says they've already placed solar-powered cameras in some areas where they consider coverage to be critical, like Mountain Passes listed here on your screen and the Nordic Center on Highway 65 in Mesa County. New tonight, police in Breckenridge are searching for the person who broke into a museum and stole a 19th century artifact. Police say someone kicked in the back door of the Edwin Carter Museum just after midnight Wednesday and stole a roughly $100 or so from a donation jar, and then they took off with an item. According to Breckenridge's history, this is a brass metal cover to an incense burner used in Masonic lodge ceremonies in the late 1800s. They took it, and police value that at roughly $350. Breckenridge history says it's a valuable part of their collection. They're, quote, troubled by the violation of a community space. If you know anything about this burglary, please call Breckenridge Police. It is one of the best days of the year here in Denver, Rockies home opener. And this year they welcomed the defending NL East champion, Philadelphia Phillies. Fans didn't have all that much to cheer about. Rockies were down 7-0 after the first inning, and they would eventually lose 10-1. But for Denver, the Rockies home opener is not just a game, it's a holiday. This year, 48,000 people celebrated. 9 News reporter Colton Chavez joins us live outside the ballpark tonight. I'm sure there's still a few stragglers. Colton, how is it out there?
A few more than a few stragglers. Don't let this scene outside the ballpark fool you. Blake Street is packed. And like you said, Jenny, despite that loss, we've learned a couple things today. One, there's no crying in baseball, and there are no bad days when it comes to a Rockies home opener. It's hard not to feel upbeat on Blake Street.
We've been coming to opening days for the Rockies for over 25 years.
A chance for over 48,000 fans to set the tone for the new season.
Being the Rockies is more the block of the holiday than anything, but hopefully we get the win as well.
Despite a historically disappointing performance last season, this year more than 350 additional tickets were sold over the last home opener.
And now, I mean, we live in Gunnison. We live 4 hours away.
we still come down.
And we still make this drive every year just for this.
By the 7th inning against the Phillies,
Honestly, I sneezed and it was 6-0.
fans like Danny and Carrie say their holiday felt better spent outside of the ballpark.
We're a little bit disappointed though. We would
Didn't
love,
even know the roster this year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of a big thing, right?
We would love to see them build a team again.
Until then, fans say the home opener will remain the same.
At the end of the day, it's just everyone gets together and just has one big party.
No matter the score or who are the Rockies playing today.
Phoenix.
Rockies fans will continue to find ways to stay upbeat on Blake Street.
No, we love it. We love this.
Yeah, we love beautiful blue skies in Colorado, and yeah, it's great.
And here's one thing that I love about baseball. The Rockies have another chance at redemption tomorrow night. Live outside Coors Field, Colton Chavez, 9 News.